Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning into this DevCast. Last week I talked about how you can use notification hubs to send cross-platform notifications, and I only covered iOS. This week I'm going to show you how to integrate your Android client into notification hubs as well, so that you can actually send push notifications no matter what the device is by only keeping track of user IDs and interesting tags rather than device tokens specific to the platform. So let me go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a new developer account at Google Developer Console. And the URL is up here. It's console.developers.google.com. So if you just look over here. And what this will do is after you create your developer account, you're going to create an Android application. And mine's called Cross-Platform Push. What you want to do is keep track of this project number because we're going to use it in our application as the ID for our application. Okay, so afterwards, the next thing to do is to download the Azure SDK for Android, and you'll just go to the root directory of that package. So it should be Azure SDK Android 1.1.5 or whatever the version number yours is. And there's two folders that we're interested in here. It's notification hubs and notifications. And what we'll go ahead and do is grab the jars. You can use the Java docs if you want. I just generally just grab the jar and just go ahead and drop into libs folder. And this is a new Android project, so if you just create a new Android application, you should just get this. And also add the notifications jar, which is right below notification hubs, and copy and paste that to libs. Make sure you copy and paste to libs because if you don't, you might get a no class definition found, which I found to be an issue. And you know your project is set up right if you just look under Android private libraries and see the two Azure SDK libraries in there. So next thing you're going to do is you're going to create a new class, and this class is going to inherit from a Windows Azure class that we use to get the push notification channel from Google Play. So go ahead and create a new class in Eclipse, and what you'll do is you'll create this, you can call it handler, and we'll inherit from one of the Azure classes, which will be called notification handler. So if you look under com.microsoft.windows azure.notifications handler. Hopefully I spelled that right. And yep, I sure did. And now we have our new class that extends notification handler, which will do most of the work for us. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to do an override on the onRegistered handler here. So override onRegistered, and you're going to grab the context. So this will call us with a context, and we'll just pass that into our Azure SDK API. We'll grab the GCM reg ID as the second parameter, and what we'll do with this is we'll take it and register it to the notification hub on Azure. Now I'll go and register notification hub. And one thing I did forget is that we should add the import to the Windows Azure library. So what we need is this com.microsoft.windows-azure.messaging import, and we'll grab all the classes there. And what we'll do is we'll create this notification hub. Notification. And the first parameter is going to be the name of our notification hub. So if you look from our previous video, the name of the notification hub is the name of your Azure service plus the word hub, and we could even see it if you go to your push settings, and you'll see here it's the name of the notification hub. So it'll be cross-platform push demo hub. And the second parameter is our key, or the connection string to the hub. And we can get that from this connection information dialog here. And remember, we always want to use the default listen and not the full, because that actually allows anybody to push to the notification channel. We don't want that. We just want to be able to listen to it. And the last thing you'll do is you just add past the context. And there we go. So now we have a notification hub that's registered to the one that we have on our mobile service. And now we'll just do a try catch block around the register API. And if you look on the bottom of this video, you'll see the link to the Android SDK documentation. So I'll go ahead and pass the registration ID, which is the native registration from Google Play. And again, like we did before, we'll just use a couple interesting tags like breaking news, and we'll tag also this device with the name of this user, which is user 1234. This takes a var arg, so you can put as many tags as you want, just like we did in iOS. Put a catch, and we'll catch any exception just for simplicity's sake, and just print the stack trace. So e dot print. Skip back over to the main.
To the main activity that you got from creating your project, and go ahead and create just a constant string, which will be the project number that we got from creating our new Google account. So if we go back to Google Developer Portal, we get this project number here, and this is what we'll plug into our code. You could use a configuration file or whatever you like, but in this case I'm just going to put it directly in the code. And now we're just going to call the Notification Manager API. A couple of things: you just want to add these imports to the Azure APIs, or else we won't be able to find what we're looking for. And now we just put Notification Manager handle notifications. The first thing will be our context, which you already get from activation. Next thing we want to do is the project number, so we'll go ahead and use the project number constant, and we'll use the name of the class that we created, so handler class, which is the last parameter. This will create the notification hub and just allow your class to be registered to Google Play, and Google Play will call us back with a registration ID where we can pass to the notification hub. One thing I did forget to mention too is you want to make sure that your project targets the Google API, and there'll be more, there's a couple links on the bottom which show you how to do that, but you want to make sure that you're referencing Google APIs here, and that your target is Google APIs, and that the virtual machine that you launch to as well also needs to be targeting Google APIs. Alright, and now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a authentication, or sorry, a credential from Google Play. And so what you do is go back to your Google Developer Portal under Credentials and APIs and Auth. You're going to create a new key, and this new key will be a server key. That just means that this key will stay on the server and it's a secret. And what you'll do is just, you can leave this box blank, that's not a big deal, and then just use this create button and it'll create a new one. Afterwards, you'll be given this key for your server to use, and you'll notice that any IP can use it. You can also restrict the number, the IPs that are allowed to use that key. Take a note of this key and copy it. Afterwards, you're going to go back into your mobile service under push, up in the push tab, and note that we have a Google Cloud Messaging settings. Go ahead and throw that key into here, and that will authorize Azure Mobile Services to send pushes to your applications. One thing I did forget to mention is that there's a laundry list of permissions that you have to add to your Android manifest to get things kind of working.
I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste them. The first part is you go ahead and place above your application node. And these permissions are really just to be able to use the internet, be able to wake up the phone, etc. All kind of boilerplate things. You could find the the actual code at the bottom of this link, and you could just copy and paste that, but I won't go over it into too much detail. The second set is the things that are specific to the Azure Notification Hub settings, and these go under the application node of your manifest. And if you just copy and paste them, and the version in the notes on the bottom of this video will show you where to place your specific application name. So now things are set up. Everything's pretty easy now. We don't really have to add a new database. We don't have to add a new table. We don't have to really keep track of device tokens. We can just add a couple lines of code to send to Google now. So if you remember from the last video, I showed how we can use the make a simple REST API to send these notifications to our phones. I'm going to use the same API here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a couple lines of code that allow us to use the Google Cloud Messaging service instead. Not instead, but also with our iOS client. So in this case, we'll send to tag Android devices. And what we're going to do is we're just going to use the same hub object, and the Node.js documentation is also at the bottom of this video as well. Hub.gcm, which is Google Cloud Messaging Service .send, and I'm taking some query parameters from the request, so you could. This is very similar to Express. So request.query.tag. So we'll take the tag of the of what the person wanted to send us, as well as the data payload of the message, and it has to be formatted specifically to what Google wants. And Google wants an object that has a data with a message object inside it, and we'll go ahead and pass the message that we're passed with. And the last thing is just a callback, and just go ahead and print if you hit an error node. And that's really it. Past that, we've just added push notifications for Android with just a couple of lines of code. So now the way this works is that we have one function that can send a message to either Android or Apple with really almost the same lines of code. It almost took no effort on the back end. So I generally like to test my REST endpoints with the Advanced REST Client for Chrome. So we hit the same endpoint, our base path plus the name of the endpoint, and our two parameters, tags, breaking news, and message, which we'll call Azure Rocks. And if everything goes well, I can send a message. And actually, I have my iPhone here too, so I can show you how we can send the same message to both, depending on what we want to tag the devices with. So in this case, I'll send a breaking news notification. And if I just hit the send here, we should see that we get a toast for Azure Rocks. And if you look here, Azure Rocks is on the iPhone as well. And you can even we can even hit our specific user. So if you want to hit the user 1234, and we could say message for Steven, we could send it again. And the great part about this is now we sent a message to two different devices, but with the same user. So we don't have to track device tokens. We don't care if it's an iPhone, Android, or Windows phone. We just care that it's the user's phone and we'd like to send a message to them. So this is why notification hubs are awesome. References and GitHub link is at the bottom of this video. And thanks for watching. It's DevCast, and I'll see you later. Take care, guys. Bye.